Good day, everyone. The following presentation is going to be about social pedagogy, its principles, elements, its different theories, and how it has been viewed and practiced in different countries. What is social pedagogy? Social pedagogy offers a holistic way of working with children, young people, and families in ways that support their well-being, learning, and growth. At the heart of social pedagogy lies a belief that each person deserves to be treated with dignity and possesses unique inner richness and potential which can help them unfold. To do so requires a meaningful and authentic relationship that enables us to recognize a person's potential, their qualities, strengths, and interests, and to create learning situations in which children and families can experience their resourcefulness and develop new abilities. Now, the principles of social pedagogy. A focus on the children as a whole and support of the children's overall development. Pedagogies are also practical, so their training prepares them to share in many aspects of children's daily lives and activities. The elements of social pedagogy. The elements of social pedagogy. Social pedagogy has three elements, which includes the professional, the personal, and the practical. Social pedagogy is a discipline. Pedagogy. This tradition of social pedagogy has its roots in the work of educational thinkers and philosophers, a form of pedagogy, and as such is rooted in education and in the philosophy of people like Rousseau and Pestalozzi. The practice of social pedagogy. Social educators deal with people of all ages, from the young to the elderly. They are employed in palliative care, assisting older people at home or in care, and they work in nurseries, schools, children's and youth services, play settings, children's homes, and youth clubs. In adult services, they interact with underserved adults like ethnic minorities, substance abusers, the homeless, the unemployed, and people in prison. Social pedagogy internationally. Social pedagogy traditions can be found in many countries across Europe and increasingly around the globe. While its origins as a paradigm can be traced back to the 19th century in Germany, many of the ideas are recognizable in the work of educational thinkers and social philosophers even before that. The term pedagogy itself goes back to antique Greece, where it was used to describe the guardian whose responsibility was to lead the young boy to school. The adult had the task of accompanying the child, of being with the child, of caring for the child. This is a kind of leading that often works behind one who is led. The social pedagogy traditions in the countries represented illustrate that many of the ideas have traveled across cultural boundaries and continues to do so across the world. Social pedagogy in Germany. The fundamental premise of life world orientation is that social pedagogy is primarily a discipline concerned with the thorough comprehension of the subjective beliefs and routines of the individuals it serves. It is crucial to this strategy because social pedagogy analyzes people's coping and life strategies so that it may understand how effectively they operate and tell apart between techniques that are functioning for them more or less. Additionally, the strategy tries to explain how knowing itself makes it possible for social pedagogy to influence all pertinent aspects of clients' daily lives. The context of residential care in Denmark and Germany. In England, the term public care refers to responsibility for children and young people, and by extension to the actual job that employers perform with young people on a daily basis. Daily practice is viewed as educational practice in Germany and Denmark. German residential care workers are known as someone who cares for you and looks after you. The terminology used to define residential care providers imply the notion of care as ongoing emotional and/or developmental responsibility for another. In Denmark, the word pedagogy is used to describe a profession for someone who is qualified to deal with children and young people in a variety of contexts and reflects pedagogic training. In Denmark, the term pedagogy is used to describe a profession for someone who is qualified to work with children and young people in a variety of contexts and reflects pedagogic training. This core worker was developed in 1992 after a significant restructuring and consolidation of training programs. Since care is implied within pedagogy, as it relates to parenting and education used in its broadest meaning. Danish occupational titles do not specifically state that care is the primary responsibility of residential care workers. Now, social pedagogy in South Africa. The term social pedagogy is not widely used in South Africa. Instead, adult education encompasses everything related to education outside or after formal education. Commonly referred to as radical or popular education, community education or alternatives focus on social, economic, and political revolution. These have their roots in the mass democratic campaigns against apartheid and are based on Paulo Freire's educational philosophy as well as participatory development concepts. Higher education pedagogical practices in South Africa continues to draw from the Western Eurocentric views, which undermines and dismiss indigenous philosophers such as Ubuntu as false assumptions and as simple, illegitimate African thinking. Such negative thinking such negative thinking and assumptions about African indigenous knowledge system results in students from African cultures feeling unwelcomed and alienated in higher education. The six guiding principles serve as the foundation for and direction of the implementation of Ubuntu pedagogy as a transformative and socially just pedagogical strategy in higher education settings. Social pedagogy in the UK. We should start with a definition of the United Kingdom. The United Kingdom consists of England, Scotland, Wales, and part of Northern Ireland. It has a constitutional monarchy and a parliamentary system with certain powers devolved since 1998 to the Parliaments of Northern Ireland, Scotland, and Wales. Historically, the UK has not paid attention to social pedagogy, yet in the last decade there has been some interest in the field from practitioners, policymakers, and academics. According to Cameron, it is important to trace the growth of social pedagogy in the UK, which gained momentum in the late 1990s. This interest in social pedagogy emerged in the academic world as a result of professional and research exchanges with colleagues in continental Europe that were more concerned with services like early childhood education and care, youth work, and services for children and adults with difficult life circumstances. Additionally, there was the effect Peter Moss of the Institute of Education, University of London, who, through the course of his and the following work, including participation of review teams and participating of the OECD's evaluation of early development policies, coordinated the European Childcare Network from the 1986 to 1996. In the UK, social pedagogy has emphasized the best practices in youth work and social work practice and helped children and young people become capable, useful contributors to the society. Building constructive informal connections with people helps professionals see people holistically, and social pedagogy can help with that. That was the end of our presentation. Thank you.